All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. In about 2 weeks, we're going to see the seventh different NBA champion in as many years. And we're also going to see a drought end as either the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to win their first NBA championship since 1979 when they were still the Seattle Supersonics, or the Indiana Pacers are going to win their first championship since 1973 when they were still in the ABA. Now, I know that for some casual basketball fans, they might not be fully engaged for this series due to the fact that the NBA Finals is going to feature a pair of small market teams. But I am here to tell you this is going to be an exciting series that real basketball fans will enjoy. It's going to be worth the price of admission and then some. Okay, these were the two best teams in their respective conferences for the postseason. They deserve to be here in the NBA Finals. Nobody won more games during the regular season than the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Indiana Pacers were the hottest team coming down the stretch of the regular season into the postseason, and of course, it carried over. A lot of young talent on both of these teams. This is really part of the future of the NBA, and I think basketball fans should really sit back, take notes, and enjoy this series. Now, you look at the Indiana Pacers. And first things first, their speed gives their opponents problems, and they've been doing that throughout this postseason run. And Indiana, and I know Indiana's a basketball state, okay, but this Indiana team, they play like a college team, and the reason why I say that, they come at you in waves because you never know which guy it's going to be who's going to put this team on his back. Offensively, they have depth off of their bench, and they really do not allow their opponents any rest. Tyrese Halliburton, of course, he's going to be one of the X factors for Indiana if they go out there and win this championship. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Thunder try to neutralize him because Halliburton can score, okay, but his ability as a passer, he's averaging nearly 10 assists per game throughout this postseason run. He averaged more than 10 assists per game in the Eastern Conference Finals against the New York Knicks. And that's going to be interesting because you've got Halliburton going up against Shea Gilgeous Alexander, okay, the MVP of the NBA for this season. And, SGA has grown up during this postseason run for OKC. And he's showing that, what, he's not just a regular season player. He's ready for prime time. So I really like this matchup going back and forth here between SGA and one Tyrese Halliburton. And then you got the Indiana bigs, with a guy like Miles Turner, and Pascal Siakam trying to go up against Chet Holmgren. And Chet Holmgren just has that length for OKC. But Pascal Siakam is a guy that can go out there and bring it as well. Of course, he has some championship experience. He was a part of the Toronto Raptors when they won the NBA championship back in 2019. But you look at Holmgren and what he can do as a scorer. You look at Holmgren, how he can frustrate teams at each end of the floor with his length. And that's going to be some interesting back and forth there between Holmgren and Pascal Siakam. I would not be surprised to see Miles Turner on Holmgren from time to time. But then also, you got to factor in Isaiah Hartenstein as well. I think, Hartenstein's going to try to keep Indiana honest defensively. I mean, Hartenstein's not known for his scoring, but he puts size in the interior for Oklahoma City. He also can grab rebounds and he can block a shot here and there. So I think this is going to be a very back and forth matchup on the interior as well on the perimeter for both teams in this series. But again, like I said, Indiana comes at you in waves. You look at this starting lineup with the likes of Andrew Nimhard and Aaron Neesmith. any one of these guys can go off and get you 25 as well. Oklahoma City, they're a little more bit more top heavy with, of course, SGA, Jalen Williams, and of course Chet Holmgren. And Jalen Williams has really shown himself to be the real deal throughout this postseason run. And of course, I say this not to say that people, maybe have overlooked Jalen Williams, but I'll tell you like this, to the casual fan, again, if they're not paying attention, this Thunder team is legit, and Jalen Williams is a part of it. And I think if OKC wins the championship, Jalen Williams is going to have a big hand in things. But I think this series, for all of the star power that both of these teams have in their respective starting fives, I think this series is going to come down to bench play. And, Indiana's bench mob, they get after you. And like I've been talking about them throughout this postseason run, you really don't have a let up, okay? Because you still get another quality point guard coming off the bench for the Pacers in the form of TJ McConnell. Obi Toppin has been solid for the Pacers coming off the bench. You've also got Benedict Mathurin as well. And then, of course, Jarris Walker, he's going to be out for the first two games with that ankle injury. But then Thomas Bryant stepped up and gave the Pacers quality minutes as well. So, it's kind of like pick your poison because, again, like I said, they come at you with waves. But that's not to overlook what the Thunder bring off of their bench as well. You got the likes of Alex Caruso. You got Isaiah Joe, who's also giving them quality minutes. And then rounding out this starting five for the Oklahoma City Thunder, you got Lou Dort as well. So it's one of those where I think this is going to be a very back and forth series. One thing that Indiana definitely has working in their favor, coaching experience. I mean, you're looking at a guy like Rick Carlisle. He has seen his fair share of battles from the sidelines in the NBA. Of course, once upon a time was a player for the Boston Celtics with Larry Bird, won a championship there. And Rick Carlisle, I feel like he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. But, Rick Carlisle has been a quality coach in the National Basketball Association for a very long time. And if Rick Carlisle can lead the Pacers to an NBA championship, he would join a very elite list. He would become just the fourth head coach in NBA history to win a championship with multiple teams. You've got Alex Hannum, you've got Phil Jackson, and you've got Pat Riley. They are the only three who have ever done that. On the flip side, Mark Dagnall for OKC may not have the experience that Rick Carlisle has, but Mark Dagnall has, done a solid job making adjustments throughout this postseason run for Oklahoma City to get them to this point. And again, when you get to the playoffs, okay, it's all about adjusting, okay, from each and every single game. And Oklahoma City has done a quality job of that. And it's going to be interesting to see who wins that head coaching battle, that chess match, if you will, in this series. Uh, like I said, getting back to Oklahoma City, it's not just an SGA thing. The playoffs have shown that, for both Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams, they are not afraid of the big stage. And I think, with the star power, like I said before, it's going to come down to bench production. Who gets the most productivity out of their bench on a night to night basis? I'll tell you like this, both of these teams are going to have to defend. Both of these teams are going to have to defend 94 feet, and they are going to have to do it for 48 minutes at least because you might have a game or two in this series, in my opinion, that will go to overtime. You just look at the incredible rise of both of these franchises, okay? It was just 3 years ago that we were talking about the Thunder losing 58 games. And in that same year, Indiana lost 57. And here they are. I talked about something last night in regards to the Knicks, once they made their decision to let go of Tom Thibodeau. I said, look at the two teams that are playing for the championship right now. They've had patience with their head coaches and they've allowed players to develop. Okay. And I think Both of these teams are quality organizations. Both of them have quality teams. Both of them deserve to be here. And either way, we are going to get a well deserving and darn good NBA champion crowned in about a week and a half or two. Okay, that's just my thoughts on it. So you're looking at Indiana. They're trying to stay on fire. Like I said, one of the hottest teams coming down the stretch in the regular season. They went 15-4 over the last 19 to finish off the regular season, and then 12-4 here in the playoffs. While for Oklahoma City, they're looking to avoid joining the 1973 Boston Celtics and the 2016 Golden State Warriors as the only teams in NBA history to win at least 68 games during the regular season and not take home the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Both of these teams are well deserving of winning this award. Okay. And I know some people have Oklahoma City as overwhelming favorites, and I could understand why. Due to the scoring ability of SGA, they're talking about SGA along with Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren as far as being the next big three of the NBA. The NBA, some people are looking at the Thunder as being the next dynasty. We have to wait and see on all of that. Okay. But the Indiana Pacers, they're no slouches either. And, again, the way that they have put things together in a short period of time as well, it's kind of like pick your poison with the Pacers. You can say, well, you know what? They don't have the guy, but they have a whole bunch of guys, and you never know who's going to take that mantle on each and every night. It's one of those where the Pacers play like a band of brothers, while Oklahoma City is playing like a team that is still searching for respect. So, once you mix all of that into the pot, you're going to have a great series because you've got two teams that are hungry, okay, to get to that spot. And one of these teams is 4 wins away from doing it. Some people out there, they think Oklahoma City is going to be the clear-cut favorite. They could, make this a short series. I don't think so. I think this is going to be a long series. I truly think this is a toss-up. I think this series could go either way. But when it's all said and done, I'm going upset here. I'm going to take the Indiana Pacers to win this series. I mean, I'm just looking at it again, the way that the Pacers have so much depth off of their bench, and they're just relentless. But the Thunder have been relentless as well, especially at the defensive end. Okay, I feel like the Pacers probably are. They haven't seen a scorer like SGA throughout this series. I mean, throughout this postseason run, rather. And that big three of Oklahoma City is very formidable. On the flip side, I feel like Oklahoma City, they can play good defense, but they probably have not seen a team with the depth of the Pacers so far in this postseason. And I think at the end of the day, I think the biggest differences and the biggest advantages for the Pacers in the series, I got to go with their bench, and I have to go with the head coaching experience of Rick Carlisle. I think both of those things will play out in this series. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to give the slight edge to the Indiana Pacers to take home the Larry O'Brien Trophy as NBA champions. But, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, please feel free to hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. Like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, I'll give you that follow right back. That also goes for Instagram, where you could check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Give me that follow, I'll give you that follow right back. You could also check us out on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You could drop in, uh, check it out, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. You can also check this channel out throughout these NBA finals, not only for lives, but also for shorts, as I'm going to be giving takes throughout this series as it progresses. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Have a good one and enjoy the upcoming NBA Finals. Be well, everybody.